Hey, what's going on, y'all? Henry Johnson, back at it again. I know it's been a little while since we did the last Super Week in Smart Homes. Wow, it's a whole new year. So 2018, here we are. Today is Wednesday, January 10th. CES is actually going on right now, so a lot's happening. So I could have gone on for hours about what's going on in smart home industry right now, but I didn't want to do that. We'll do more of a CES wrap up next week. Probably a few of these are from CES, but most of them aren't. So today we're going to talk about Control4 buying Ihiji, ADT, IPO, Roku, and their expansions, Kaleidescape and Nexguard, Realtime, Vivint, Amazon, and Skybell. I don't want to go into all of it right now. Let's get into them individually. Okay, so Control4 bought Ihiji. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. It was right around the Christmas time frame. A lot of people here may not know who Ihiji is, and some of you may not know who Control4 is, and even fewer of you will know who Ihiji is. So Control4 is a home automation platform. What I think they're best known for, at least to me, is their interoperability with so many things, right? They are really leading the way in terms of focusing on the connected home and making sure that their platform connects with everything. They, unlike Savant, Crestron, etc., which it seems like hold the reins a little bit on things sometimes in terms of allowing them to connect. Control4 makes their platform very easy for them to connect with things like Nest, Ecobee, and really anything else out there, which I really like. And then what Control4 recently did is they bought a company called Ihiji. What Ihiji is they are a remote monitoring platform. So us integrators, one of the things that we provide to our clients is the ability to monitor their systems even though we're not on site. The benefit of this to the client is that if something does happen, right, it's technology at the end of the day. Sometimes things break. As an integrator, I can go on my computer, see what's happening, and if there is an easy fix, I can do it right there. Whether that's restarting something, going in, upgrading firmware, or anything of that nature, I can easily do that through Ihiji. Here at Digital Home, we're not big users of Ihiji, have used it, know of it. But it's awesome in that it has integrations with so many different devices. They over 2,000 that they have. Control4 also actually had another remote monitoring platform called Backpack, and over time these two are going to merge together to hopefully create a even more robust, powerful platform. The question that a lot of people have right now is, will it be available to people outside of the Control4 ecosystem? So I listened to an interview with one of the, I don't remember the guy's name or what his position was at Control4, but he was on HomeTech.fm guy, Seth Johnson, and I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head, but they do a weekly show as well, kind of like I do, and they had him on, and it was really interesting. So if you guys want to learn more, you can go check that out there. I'll put a link down below. This is going to be a long one, guys, so kind of prepare yourself. Next thing is ADT. ADT's IPOing. Won't go too much into this, but I think it was announced right on Christmas. That's at least when I saw it. And I think it's smart of them. They should definitely get ahead of this wave. There's a lot happening with like the do-it-yourself security systems, and they're coming at ADT. Ring, ADT suing them currently. There's a bunch of different do-it-yourself platforms coming out, and in my opinion, ADT is playing catch-up from a technology standpoint with these guys. And these guys are playing catch-up with ADT from a awareness standpoint. So while ADT still has that awareness, they should get the money that they can, so they hopefully they can catch up from a technology standpoint, because these guys are definitely going to come for them in an awareness standpoint. I'm also biased in that I'm a big believer in like the upstart and what a lot of startups are doing in the world today. So maybe I'm wrong in terms of what will happen long term, but I think it's smart for ADT to go public now before people keep taking part of their market share. So we'll see. Next is Roku. So I'm going to look at my computer a little bit on this one because a lot happened with Roku. So if you're not familiar with Roku, they're a media server, a media streaming platform. So they're like an Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick. They have the Roku stick. That's essentially what they are, right? You can put Netflix on there. You can put Amazon Prime Video on there, YouTube, HBO Go, et cetera, et cetera. That's really been their thing up until now. They had just their Roku box. Then they were the first ones to have the 4K before Apple TV or anybody else was doing that. And then Amazon did the Amazon Fire, the Amazon Fire Stick, and then Roku kind of followed on that one. But largely, Roku has been leading the way from a technology standpoint in this space. When Apple TV came out, everybody thought Roku was done. And you can go like Google it now or go on Twitter, and everybody will talk about short Roku stock because they're gonna fade. And if I wasn't familiar with the company, and actually not even say that. Excuse me. I used to be one of those people that why would I get a Roku when I can have Apple TV? So one, because Apple just does not invest enough into the Apple TV, and so there's all types of challenges with Apple TV. In that, they're not huge, right? All you have to do is restart it to fix it, but it can be a pain, especially if your Apple TV is not in the room. You have to go down to your equipment closet, etc. But Roku's doing a lot, even moving forward, right? So here's some things that they announced. They announced voice control on the Roku, so you'll be able to say things like, "Hey Roku, play jazz in the living room." "Hey Roku, turn on Netflix." Blah blah blah. They're also continuing to license. So one of the big things with Roku is that they're licensing out their software as well, right? So not only being the hardware platform that like Apple TV is or that Amazon Fire Stick is, they're licensing out to TV manufacturers so that you can just have a Roku thing on the TV. So once you click on the Roku, then you'd go to Netflix and all that other stuff in there. So essentially, what they're creating with that is what people in this industry call like input zero, so that you don't have to have all these other inputs. You just have one, which is Roku, and then number two would be like your actual TV. But Roku and TV, you don't have to have Netflix, YouTube, all this other stuff. You go into Roku and you can find everything there. So they're creating that with kind of doing the licensing, but then they're also OEMing different products. They have a Roku Smart TV, which that's essentially what I've been talking about, which is their streaming device. They have their smart soundbar that they're going to be OEMing. They have a smart speaker and Roku Connect. Not 100% sure what the Roku Connect is off the top. I don't remember exactly. But essentially, the smart soundbar and smart speaker will enable you to have like whole house audio being done through Roku, right? Or whole house lit entertainment experience. So you can have your Roku playing on your TV in your living room, and then maybe you have a Roku smart speaker in your bedroom and in the bathroom. Even if you go into those other rooms, you can make sure that what's playing on the TV in the living room also plays through those speakers, or you can do music through them as well, and having Roku play jazz or play something else that is on the Roku app. So gives a lot more ability around that. And the Connect is what just connects all of them. That gives it the ability to do it. So it's just the software that connects it. So this is this episode I actually did on purpose. I tried to focus a lot on more professional installation products, right? I do a lot on Amazon Alexa, Google Home, and I will continue. I imagine that next week's is going to be big time focused on that. So I wanted to focus a little more on this week. So the next thing is something that, again, a lot of people may not have heard about, which is called Kaleidescape. In our space, in the integrator space, Kaleidescape is a very highly touted product, and the reason is it is the only from what I'm in this space, the only product that is giving you 4K video, 4K quality, the purest 4K quality HDR lossless audio movies directly from the production studios, right? So they have relationships with all of the studios essentially, and they enable you to buy the movies from them. They store them on your Kaleidescape, and then you can watch literally the best quality movies that you can get in your house, right? So they're giving you essentially Blu-ray quality movies, but on a streaming device. It's not necessarily streaming because you download them, but on a device without having to buy like the DVDs and stuff. And why that is important, and why that is different from like the Rokus, the Apple TVs that I talked about before, is that getting actual 4K to your TV over a streaming device, most people don't have the ability to do that, right? Because if you're doing it over Wi-Fi, you're not getting 4K over Wi-Fi. You literally need to be hard connected, and you need to be connected with all the white wires and things of that nature. I actually do a video on that to make sure that people understand actual 4K, because I think that's important, because 8K is coming now. People are buying these 4K TVs and literally not even getting 4K quality video on them because they don't have any 4K sources that they're into it, right? You'll see Netflix now is doing 4K, but if you're doing if your Apple TV or anything that's doing Netflix's Wi-Fi, you can't do 4K over Wi-Fi. It's just not going to happen. So that's important to know. So what's important about Kaleidescape? They just did a relationship with Nexguard, which is essentially it helps secure the movies that they have on Kaleidescape. This is important because Kaleidescape has these big relationships with these movie houses, and if any of these movies that these movie houses are giving to Kaleidescape to sell were to be pirated, it kind of makes it tough for Kaleidescape to maintain these relationships. So this gives them an extra level of security on it, watermarking, etc., to make sure that these videos are not pirated. What people are saying is this going to be the actual first step, that the first time we actually see movies that are in theater going direct to home as well? We're already seeing declines in the amount of people going to see movies, right? Because, pirating is happening, but also because the quality of what you can watch at home has improved so much. So you don't necessarily need to go to the movies to get a great viewing experience. So if this was to happen, I think it'd be really big. I think it would be huge for Kaleidescape in the mainstream and not just in the integrator space that I'm in. So I really look forward to seeing that happen. I've never been a huge Kaleidescape guy. I don't think most people notice the difference between like lossless audio and true 4K versus 1080p on a 4K TV. Sadly, I don't think they do. But I think having a direct to home movies that just came out in theaters will be big, because not everybody's pirating. Not everybody's millennials, cord cutters, Generation Z, etc. that are doing all this kind of stuff. So I think that'll be interesting. The next thing I wanted to talk about, we're moving into more of the security aspects of things, less than the smart home now, is IC Realtime. They are releasing something interesting, and I forgot what they called it, Ella. So it's something called Ella, and it's essentially their smart video device, right? So it enables you to use your IC Realtime cameras, or actually you can use other cameras as well, and you can say things to it or search things like, Ella, show me all the red shirts that have come through this camera stream. So just giving you a little bit of a smartification of the cameras that you have. So instead of just knowing, okay, I was burglarized at 1 a.m. on Friday night, and you see that the guy had on, you can also say, okay, let's say you're trying to figure out if UPS dropped something off, you can just type in UPS, and it will find all the times UPS came to your house, or things of that nature, right? So just, you can get creative in the different ways things you can ask, but I just think it's very interesting what they're doing, because photo analytics or video analytics historically have not been very good. We all have Google photos, or like your iPhone photos, right? You can even look for pictures of yourself and try to find all the pictures of yourself on your iPhone. It's not very good. Doesn't work that well. So interesting to see if IC Realtime can actually pull it off, whereas somebody like Google and Facebook's actually probably the best, but Google and Apple, etc., haven't really gotten it down packed. So we'll see. I think I'd like to see it on the Google side of things and like the consumer side more, although I'd love to sell the IC Realtime stuff. But although I'm not a huge IC Realtime fan, as I've talked to you guys about in previous videos, just because their customer service to me is terrible. But I think it's interesting what they're doing there and could be useful for clients. So thought it would be interesting to talk about. Next thing is more consumer focused, and I think very interesting. So Vivint, I guess they're kind of a competitor of ours, but I think what they're doing is interesting, so I'm going to talk about it, right? They have come up with an app called Streety. And what Streety does is enables you, and it says, I'm getting different verbiage here, right? So it says, in some cases, like anybody who has a Vivint camera can go onto it, and like if something happens at your house, you can request access to other people's Vivint cameras in your area to see what happened, right? They may have different angles. They may have caught them before they got to your house to kind of see what happened, so that you can really put together a better story, or maybe your cameras didn't catch it, but your neighbor has Vivint as well, so you can see if maybe your neighbor's camera caught it or your person across the street, etc. I think that's really, really interesting, and if any of the other camera providers are watching, it would be very, very smart for them to think about. Ring, for example, I think should think about doing something like this, especially after hearing like podcasts with the CEO. He talks about Ring as more of a security system. That is smart, I think. I think that's big. But it also says in some of the articles that you don't need a Vivint camera. So, Vivint, whatever people call it. So, if that's the case, this could literally take off. And I people are wondering if they will because of security reasons or not. People want to share their cameras and stuff like that. But I think people are less security, less scared of privacy now than ever. So I think it'll work. Another camera thing, Amazon acquired Blink. So Blink is a camera doorbell similar to like a Ring, Nest Cam, Skybell. Don't need to go too much more into it. They're from Boston area. I never even really heard of them, but it just shows more that Amazon's getting more and more into this smart home ecosystem, And I'm sure after CES we'll have a lot to talk about that, so I won't go into it much more. And then lastly, again, Skybell I brought up on purpose there because they are suing Ring. Skybell has like 71, I think, patents in this space, and Ring has 3. The Skybell team is going very hard at Ring, talking about Ring has copied everything they do, and they're just great at marketing. I will agree with them. Ring is great at marketing. I have not read the patents. I don't really plan to read the patents. But I do look forward to seeing what happens here because I think Ring does do a great job at marketing. I think they bring a good product to market. I like what they're doing now around making these more hardwired because I've installed some at clients' house where they are not hardwired, they're battery powered, and I think it's overrated when it's battery powered, right? It's really annoying to have to go out there and recharge your Ring all the time. And if that's how Skybell works, which I've never used, again, overrated. But we'll see what comes of this. I say Ring is overrated. I think, if you have to do that all the time, it's overrated. But a lot of people use Ring, obviously. So only time will tell, my friends. But that's it for today. We've been going for 21 minutes, almost 22. So I won't keep you here all day. What I will say is, please, comments. I did a lot today. I'm in a whole new space, right? You guys have never seen this. I'm standing, not sitting. Love to chat with you guys. digihm.com. As always, little box on the bottom. You can chat me, and I'll talk back all in real time there. Or comments here, and I'll get back to you as I get to them. But subscribe, please. I appreciate all subscriptions. If you're watching, you're enjoying, please do. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.